Here's how I lost $1,000 day trading today and almost blew my eval. Let's get right into it. So I do want to start off by saying a few things. For some reason, my wrist got fucked in this, and I lost $1,000 instead of the normal 500. And I am really close to blowing my eval. Here is the P&L ski right here. You can see I am down 1,000, and the whole month of April I have been red. The trade yesterday was supposed to be break even. It was negative 24. I already explained that. But before I get into the trade recap, I do want to say a few things. I'm honestly not even emotional that I took this loss. I journaled it, reviewed it, and everything. Even when I took the loss, I wasn't emotional. But just seeing 1K down and knowing that, honestly, this eval is going to be blown. Like, I'm not trying to manifest the negative energy in that sense, but I know it's going to be blown. But to me, it's just like it's a canon event. It's just another lesson. But let's get right into the trade recap. And I hope that next week will be great. Either I can recover this eval or I start fresh and new. But coming into the day, what did I want? So coming in today, I saw that we were in this 5 minute accumulation. So I wanted to see a breakout of a range. However, the thing is, I didn't really see any like fair value gaps or here. So I either predicted that market open would then probably go higher and then come lower to tap in the 15 minute to then hit data highs, or we would get kind of a little bit of the opposite in the sense where we immediately pump to data highs and then start to get some displacement lower, right? And that's what I was kind of hoping for. I wanted more longs to data highs just because of how prominent it looked and just overall. So now coming into 9:30, I get my setup right around here, and it's the 9:37 1 minute. Now I was actually convicted in this trade, and I'm gonna explain it. Um, I know that there was not yeah, what's it called? NQ did not actually manipulate into this 15 minute, and looking back at it, that's kind of the main reason why this failed. But I'm not necessarily mad at it because I thought that the SMT with it was kind of validating my reasoning, and also just the way that this 1 minute closes instantly closing through these 2 minute fair value gaps. Sorry, both of these 1 minute fair value gaps, and then just previously edging data high, and just right here I was actually convicted in it, but as you can see we literally lost in 1 minute. And right after that there was this setup right here, that I personally do not like at all, and I will be getting into that. But again, coming in, and talking more about my trade recap, why did I take this trade even if like NQ didn't actually manipulate into 50 minute? Because again, as we can see on ES actually manipulated into the 15 minute, and it inversed the first, showing some sort of bullish kind of scenario in the sense that I wanted to see. And I was actually convicted in this. And when I entered, for some reason, I guess my risk got fucked. Somehow I risked with 500 USD, market ordered it 500 USD. And it just basically just made me lose 1K. And the funny thing is that I was actually going to lose more, but I trailed a stop and I realized that I'm fucked, right? So I lost 1K, right? But it is what it is. But I'm not gonna actually be talking too much about my trade because that's just very simple, right? Like this is sorry, this is not what I have written. This is what I have written down for it right here. It's very simple, lesson learned from it, right? This is my trade analysis, and it all makes sense on why it kind of lost, but also why was I convicted in it, right? But what I do want to talk about actually more is about the other setups that were happening after. So as I said before, we have now this setup right here, the 941. In my opinion, this is probably a shit setup. Like, sorry, this is definitely a shit setup in the sense, and I don't know, like, I wouldn't take this. I didn't take this. But I'm gonna get into that, right? And the whole reason why I'm talking about these is because I'm doing kind of like a recap of the day. Because I'm posting this on Saturday and I'm recapping Friday's trade. I was too tired after work, so I'm doing it now. But again, my whole kind of reasoning behind fading this is not only, first off, I already just lost 1K, so I'm not trying to take a back-to-back trade loss. But the reason being is because we barely tap into the 15 minute, okay, showing that we're not really reacting off anything. We wanted a strong reaction, like I said before. I wanted to see us react from the 15 minute and then get an inverse or displacement to data highs. But as you can see, we barely react from it. Not to mention, we get another 1 minute after the previous failed, and you can see the delivering the trades bad. However, okay, sure, we can say that ES is slacking because ES looked very shitty at the time, right? Like you can see ES looked unbelievably shitty, right? Like this is where ES is during the sort of trade. But when you're in the trade, and something you have to realize and pay attention for this trade, the 941, is that you can see that we are clearly now creating a bearish trend. We are creating lower highs and lower lows. This is a little bit of a sauce right here, but this should have been a break-even trade in my opinion if you took it. Because first off, what I would have done is I probably would have gone break-even here. You can clearly see that we're just creating highs and lows, right? Lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, right? We are clearly just creating this bearish trend and failing to displace higher with this 15-minute barely being tapped in, right? Like this was a bad trade in my opinion. This was very shit. If you took it, whatever, like right after that 1 minute, I don't know. But anyways, that's what I thought about this. But now talking about this one, which in my opinion was such a beautiful trade, and I wish I didn't take the first one. I would have taken this, and I said it right here. I would have taken this if I didn't take the first one. But let me get into why I think this was a beautiful trade. So after both of these 1 minute fails, essentially what we're looking now is we're seeing, okay, are we going to actually get a setup to data highs that is proper? Okay, we perfectly reject off the 15-minute. I'll literally show it right here. Okay, so this is where the trade was. It was a 5-minute at 10:14. You can see on the 15-minute chart, we perfectly wick it out. Beautiful 5-minute V-shape inverse. I'll show it right here. And actually, ES doesn't look like in a bad scenario. Like it looks decent now. The only bad thing is, and I'll get into it as well, in all I journaled and everything, it's very nice to really break it down in the sense. But, right, what I was saying was the only bad thing about this trade is that ES made equal lows. However, there is every single good thing about this. We have generative liquidity, low resistance liquidity with swing failure highs, leading to our drawn liquidity being data high. We have a 5-minute V-shaped inverse right here. We have 10 a.m. PL3. This is the 10 a.m. candle already going lower into discount, perfectly rejecting from the 15-minute internal SMT. Oh shit. That's my alarm, guys. I don't know. Fuck if you heard that. My bad. But perfect, right? Kind of model in the sense, and we have this mini market maker buy model that is inside the high time frame 4-hour market maker buy model we are now. So we're using time alignment, we're using PL3 essentially, and we're using all of our confluences together. And in my opinion, if you took this trade, this was perfect. But why did I fade this then? Simply because of the fact that I just took a 1K fucking loss. Like straight up, I'm not even emotional about that, but it's just like, to me, if I were to take this and lose, not only am I blowing my account, but I'm taking 3 trades in a row loss with the 5-minute IFGs, because for the past 2 trades, well, not the past 2 trades, but the past 5 minutes, 5-minute IFGs that I've taken have both lost. So if I took this one and lost again, it would have been 3 in a row plus blowing my account. So I just got off. I honestly looked at it and I said, okay, whatever. I have a feeling for a fact that's going to play, but I'm not trying to risk it and just put my psyche really fucked. But that's kind of a recap overall of what I thought of today. Well, not today, yesterday, April 10th, 2026. And I think it was a definitely interesting day with these setups failing before, because usually actually the setups before 10 a.m. have been playing out, but it's whatever, not something that I'm emotional about. But I definitely do want to see how next week will be, and I don't know how I feel about this eval. Honestly, I have a feeling I'm probably gonna blow it and lose it in a trade, but it's just like another step, or like another kind of hmm like a canon event, I'd say, that God wants me to go through in order to achieve my goals. But I hope you guys did like this video. Definitely some sauce at the end with this. If you do want to kind of see more about how I'm thinking of, price and trades like this, and also how I'm journaling, because I think when you really go in depth, like stuff like this, right? I'm definitely showing it like this. Okay, like what do we have here for like this setup, right? In my opinion, like look at how like we have clear sort of accumulation range, and then we actually perfectly manipulated into the 15-minute. You see the previous trades lost and shit, you know, and it just all makes sense looking back at it and reviewing. But anyways, guys, I hope you do like this video. And yeah, see you guys in the next one, and goodbye. Peace out, everybody.